Energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be transformed from one form to another. First law of thermodynamics. Throughout history, mystics, sages, and esoteric traditions have spoken of a force within human beings, one so powerful that it holds the potential to create life, elevate consciousness, and transform reality. This force is sexual energy. Yet, in the modern world, its true significance has been trivialized, reduced to a mere physical impulse rather than recognized as one of the most potent manifestations of the life force itself. Ancient spiritual traditions, from the tantric yogis of India to the Taoist masters of China, understood that sexual energy is not simply biological but metaphysical. In Hinduism, it is referred to as prana, the vital life force that flows through all beings. In Taoism, it is known as qi, the fundamental energy that sustains existence. In the West, alchemical teachings speak of the sacred fire within, a force that, when properly harnessed, can lead to enlightenment and self-mastery. The connection between sexual energy and consciousness is deeply rooted in esoteric teachings. The ancient practice of Tantra, often misunderstood in the West as merely a form of sexual practice, was actually a disciplined path towards spiritual awakening. It taught that sexual energy could be transmuted, redirected from lower desires into higher states of being. Similarly, Taoist alchemy speaks of the microcosmic orbit, a method of circulating internal energy rather than allowing it to dissipate through excessive release. The goal in both traditions was not suppression but mastery, to cultivate and refine this energy rather than scatter it mindlessly. Yet, in the modern age, this sacred energy is often wasted through unchecked indulgence. Society promotes a culture of instant gratification, where pleasure is prioritized over self-mastery and the true power of sexual energy is ignored. Mainstream media, advertising, and even the pornography industry thrive on keeping individuals in a cycle of compulsive desire, ensuring they never realize that their most powerful resource is being drained without their awareness. But what happens when this energy is constantly lost without consciousness? In metaphysical terms, sexual energy is deeply tied to creative and manifesting power. Every act of self-release is an act of dispersion, scattering one's energetic potential rather than directing it toward personal evolution. This is why excessive indulgence often leads to feelings of depletion, lack of motivation, and emotional emptiness. Many who struggle with compulsive behaviors describe feeling disconnected from their inner drive, as if their willpower and sense of purpose weaken over time. Modern science offers insights that align with these ancient teachings. Studies on dopamine, the neurotransmitter responsible for pleasure and reward, reveal that constant self-indulgence can lead to desensitization, meaning that over time, greater stimulation is required to feel the same level of satisfaction. This cycle creates dependency, leaving individuals trapped in an endless loop of seeking pleasure while simultaneously feeling more unfulfilled. In a spiritual sense, this desensitization also numbs one's ability to connect with higher consciousness, making it harder to experience deep intuition, inspiration, or spiritual awakening. Beyond the biological and psychological consequences, esoteric traditions warn that excessive loss of sexual energy has spiritual ramifications. In Hindu and Buddhist traditions, the sacral chakra, Swadhisthana, is associated with sexuality, creativity, and passion. When this energy center is depleted or imbalanced, it leads to instability, lethargy, and a lack of purpose. Those who practice energy cultivation techniques, such as Kundalini Yoga, understand that maintaining and redirecting this energy can lead to profound spiritual insights and heightened awareness. This is not to suggest that all expressions of sexuality are harmful. Rather, the issue lies in unconscious indulgence, when sexual energy is wasted rather than harnessed. The difference between conscious and unconscious energies is the difference between one who is in control of their desires and one who is controlled by them. If sexual energy has the power to create life, elevate consciousness, and shape reality, then it must also have the power to be misused or manipulated. The real question is, who benefits from its misuse? And more importantly, is it possible that certain unseen forces thrive on keeping humanity in a perpetual state of energetic depletion? To answer these questions, we must venture deeper into the realm of energy vampirism, the hidden mechanisms through which energy is drained, not just physically, but spiritually. If something unseen is feeding off human vitality, then the implications are far more profound than most would dare to imagine. If sexual energy is one of the most powerful forces a human can generate, then it stands to reason that it is also one of the most coveted. But who or what would sit to drain it? Ancient wisdom and modern esoteric teachings converge on an unsettling answer. There are forces, both seen and unseen, that feed on human energy, particularly when it is mindlessly released. These entities and systems thrive on keeping individuals in states of low vibration, ensuring they remain disconnected from their full potential. Throughout history, various spiritual traditions have spoken of energy parasites, beings that exist beyond the physical realm, yet influence human behavior and drain life force. In Gnostic texts, these entities are known as archons, malevolent, non-physical forces that manipulate human desires to keep them enslaved in material existence. The Gnostic Nag Hammadi scriptures describe these beings as mind parasites that implant thoughts, compulsions, and illusions to keep humanity in a constant state of destruction and weakness. The more unaware an individual is of their own energy, the easier it is for them to be fed upon. In occult teachings, similar entities are described as astral parasites, invisible forces that attach themselves to humans, drawing sustenance from their emotional and energetic output. Some traditions refer to them as succubi and incubi, spirits that seduce individuals in dreams or waking life, extracting their sexual energy and leaving them depleted. In many cases, these parasitic entities operate in the subconscious, influencing thoughts, triggering urges, and subtly guiding individuals toward behaviors that perpetuate their own depletion. But the influence of energy vampirism is not limited to the unseen. There are systems in place that actively work to keep individuals in a constant state of energetic loss. The pornography industry, for example, is one of the most powerful tools for mass energy drainage. Modern neuroscience reveals that excessive pornography consumption hijacks the brain's reward system, desensitizing individuals and leading them into cycles of addiction. But on an esoteric level, the effects are even more insidious. Pornography traps individuals in lower vibrational states, where they become easy targets for energy harvesting. Consider this. The most advanced spiritual traditions teach that sexual energy, when properly cultivated, can be used to access higher states of consciousness, strengthen the aura, and even influence reality. Yet, the modern world bombards individuals with hypersexualized imagery, conditioning them to waste this energy rather than refine it. Could this be a mere coincidence? Or is there a deeper agenda at play, one that seeks to prevent people from realizing their own power? The Tibetan Book of the Dead describes a state known as the Bardo, an intermediate realm where the soul, after death, encounters deceptive spirits that attempt to lure it into illusion. Some esoteric scholars suggest that a similar process occurs during life, that humans are constantly surrounded by forces that manipulate perception, encouraging behaviors that keep them trapped in a cycle of reincarnation and energy depletion. If true, this would mean that those who blindly follow their urges without question may be unknowingly participating in a system designed to keep them in spiritual stagnation. Even in mainstream psychology, There is acknowledgement of psychic vampirism, the concept that certain individuals, knowingly or unknowingly, drain the energy of others. These people often leave their victims feeling exhausted, unmotivated, and emotionally depleted. But what if the same principle applies on a metaphysical level? What if there are entities, or even entire institutions, designed to keep humanity energetically suppressed? There is a reason why great spiritual masters throughout history, from Buddha to Jesus to Nikola Tesla, spoke of the importance of controlling one's desires rather than being controlled by them. The more one masters their own energy, the harder it becomes for external forces to siphon it. In contrast, those who live in a state of unconscious indulgence are easy targets for energetic manipulation. If something unseen is feeding on human vitality, then the implications are far-reaching. But how does this energy depletion affect one's ability to shape reality? What happens when the very force meant to fuel creation is being unconsciously drained? To answer this, we must explore the connection between sexual energy and manifestation, the ability to turn thought into reality. Sexual energy is, at its core, creative energy. It is the force that brings life into existence, fuels passion, and drives human ambition. Every great achievement, whether in art, science, or philosophy, has been propelled by focused, undispersed energy. It is no coincidence that many of history's most influential figures practiced some form of sexual transmutation, choosing to channel their energy into creative and intellectual pursuits rather than allowing it to be lost through excessive indulgence. Yet, in modern times, few realize that their constant depletion of sexual energy is directly linked to their inability to manifest their desires and shape their reality. Those who frequently release this energy without consciousness often find themselves trapped in cycles of stagnation, struggling to achieve their goals, lacking the drive to pursue their ambitions, and feeling uninspired in their daily lives. This is because they are unknowingly dissipating the very force that fuels manifestation. In the realm of metaphysics, the process of manifestation is deeply tied to vibrational frequency. The law of attraction, as described in both ancient and modern teachings, states that our dominant thoughts, emotions, and energy states determine the circumstances we draw into our lives. Sexual energy, being one of the highest vibrational forces, has the potential to amplify this process. When conserved and directed with intention, it acts as a catalyst, accelerating the realization of one's desires. However, when it is wasted unconsciously, it weakens an individual's ability to hold focus, maintain discipline, and sustain the high-frequency state required for manifestation. This connection is evident in spiritual traditions that emphasize the importance of sexual discipline. In Hindu philosophy, the practice of brahmacharya, often misinterpreted as celibacy, actually refers to the conscious control and redirection of sexual energy. Yogis who mastered this principle were known to develop extraordinary mental clarity, heightened intuition, and even abilities that defy conventional understanding, such as deep states of meditation and extended lifespans. Similarly, Taoist teachings describe sexual energy as a sacred essence that, when refined, can lead to spiritual enlightenment and prolonged vitality. From a scientific perspective, modern research on dopamine and neuroplasticity supports these ancient teachings. Dopamine, the neurotransmitter responsible for motivation and reward, is heavily influenced by sexual activity. Excessive release of dopamine through frequent masturbation leads to desensitization, meaning that over time, the brain requires stronger stimulation to experience the same level of satisfaction. This is why many individuals trapped in compulsive behaviors report feeling less motivated, less creative, and less engaged in life. Their brain's natural reward system has been hijacked, making them dependent on external stimuli rather than internal drive. On an energetic level, the impact is even more profound. In esoteric traditions, the sacral chakra, Swadhisthana, is the energy center associated with sexuality, creativity, and manifestation. When this chakra is overstimulated or depleted, individuals experience imbalances that manifest as creative blocks, emotional instability, and a lack of purpose. Those who engage in conscious energy retention, on the other hand, often report increased clarity, deeper spiritual insights, and a stronger sense of personal power. Many of the most successful and spiritually attuned individuals throughout history understood this principle. Leonardo da Vinci, Nikola Tesla, and even Steve Jobs were known for practicing some form of sexual energy transmutation. Tesla, for instance, believed that abstaining from excessive sexual activity allowed him to focus entirely on his inventions. Similarly, great mystics and sages emphasized the importance of mastering one's desires in order to reach higher levels of consciousness. The cuticle is this: sexual energy, when misused, dissipates into nothingness, leaving an individual weakened and directionless. But when it is cultivated and harnessed, it becomes a tool for extraordinary creation. Imagine what could happen if, instead of allowing this energy to be drained by mindless pleasure, one chose to channel it into building the life they truly desire. But how to reclaim this power, break free from unconscious indulgence, and harness sexual energy for true transformation? The goal is not suppression, but mastery, learning to control one's energy rather than being controlled by it. Awareness is the first step toward transformation. Once you understand that your energy is being depleted, whether by external forces, unconscious habits, or societal conditioning, you gain the power to take back control. The key to breaking free from the cycle of energetic loss is not repression, but transmutation, redirecting sexual energy into higher pursuits that align with your spiritual growth, purpose, and manifestation power. To regain mastery over your energy, you must adopt a new approach, one that balances discipline with conscious expression. The following practices will help you reclaim your power and elevate your state of being. First, recognition and awareness. Most people indulge in habits without questioning their deeper consequences. The urge to release sexual energy often arises not from a genuine physical need, but from emotional triggers, stress, or external influence. The next time the impulse arises, ask yourself, what am I truly seeking? Is it pleasure, or am I trying to escape something? This simple awareness begins to shift the pattern from unconscious compulsion to conscious choice. Next is energy transmutation, the practice of redirecting sexual energy into productive and transformative outlets. This is a method used by monks, sages, and high performers throughout history. In Taoist practices, the microcosmic orbit is a technique in which sexual energy is circulated throughout the body rather than released. In yogic traditions, this energy is lifted upward through the chakras, fueling higher states of consciousness. This is why disciplines such as Kundalini Yoga and Qigong focus heavily on breath work and movement to guide and refine life force energy rather than letting it be wasted. A simple practice to begin energy transmutation is breath work and visualization. The next time you feel an urge, instead of acting on it, sit in stillness and breathe deeply. Visualize the energy rising from your lower body toward your heart, your mind, or your creative projects. This process strengthens willpower, heightens focus, and allows you to retain vitality while channeling it into something meaningful. Another method of breaking free is reprogramming the mind. The subconscious operates based on patterns and conditioning. If someone has spent years indulging in self-destructive cycles, their brain has been wired to seek that behavior automatically. To undo this programming, new patterns must be installed. Daily affirmations can be powerful. I am in control of my energy. I use my creative force to manifest my highest self. Every day, I grow stronger, more focused, and more aligned with my purpose. By repeating these affirmations with intention and feeling, they begin to override old conditioning, replacing it with new, empowering beliefs. Equally important is protecting one's energy from external manipulation. If you recognize that unseen forces, whether societal, psychological, or spiritual, thrive on keeping individuals in a weakened state, it becomes clear that avoiding energetic pollution is essential. This means being mindful of what you consume, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. Reducing exposure to pornography, excessive sexual imagery, and mindless distractions is crucial. These stimuli are designed to hijack the brain's reward system, keeping individuals in a cycle of depletion. By consciously choosing what you allow into your mental space, you reinforce your energetic sovereignty. Beyond avoidance, active spiritual protection is necessary. Throughout history, ancient traditions have used rituals, mantras, and cleansing practices to shield themselves from lower vibrational influences. Some methods include salt baths to cleanse energetic residue, smudging with sage or Palo Santo to purify one's environment, mantras and frequency-based sound healing to reinforce energetic integrity, daily meditation to strengthen the aura and maintain high vibration. Ultimately, the path to reclaiming your power is about self-mastery. When you control your urges, rather than being controlled by them, you enter a new dimension of awareness. You begin to experience heightened focus, clearer intuition, and a greater sense of purpose. Your ability to manifest sharpens, and life begins to reflect the energy you cultivate. This transformation is not just personal, it is spiritual. In many esoteric traditions, those who master their sexual energy are believed to unlock higher levels of consciousness, gaining access to insights, abilities, and a deeper connection with the universe. What was once lost in mindless indulgence is now directed toward building something greater. Now, ask yourself, what would my life look like if I fully harnessed my energy? If I no longer leaked my power, but instead used it to fuel my dreams, my creativity, my higher calling? The answer lies not in theory, but in practice. You must experience it for yourself. If this message resonated with you, let's continue the conversation. Drop a comment below with the word power to affirm your commitment to energy mastery. Share your thoughts. Have you ever noticed the effects of energy loss or transmutation in your life? Let's build a community of awakened minds who reclaim their power instead of letting it be drained. If you found value in this, make sure to like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear this message, and subscribe for more insights on spiritual mastery, energy transmutation, and esoteric knowledge. Your energy is your most valuable asset. Protect it, master it, use it wisely,